Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Local communities impacted by flooding from Tropical Storm Fred will soon be getting help from the federal government. This comes after lawmakers called on FEMA to provide assistance to the southern tier. Big Fox's Matt Kleindens joins us from Corning with the latest.
Good evening, Jennifer. President Biden approved a disaster declaration to help the southern tier recover from flooding back in August. This order will bring much-needed funding to communities heavily impacted by the record-setting flood. After local lawmakers asked for help, President Biden approved a major disaster declaration for 8 New York counties. The 8 counties listed were heavily impacted by floodwaters brought by Tropical Storm Fred back in August. In Steuben County, floodwaters caused significant damage to towns like Woodhull and even claimed the life of a 31-year-old mother from Greenwood. In a statement, Governor Hochul thanked the president for approving the disaster declaration, saying that the order will provide much-needed assistance to local communities. According to Governor Hochul, over $36 million in damage was reported across 8 counties. Tropical Storm Fred dumped over 7 inches of rain in a 3-day span. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
A new report says 1 in 4 pieces of critical infrastructure in the U.S. face substantial risk of being rendered inoperable by flooding. The report was prepared by the First Street Foundation, which is a nonprofit research and technology group. It considers critical infrastructure to include police and fire stations, hospitals, airports, and wastewater treatment facilities. The study also found 23% of the roads in the U.S. are at risk of becoming impassable due to flooding. According to FEMA, flooding is already the most common and costly disaster in the U.S. While public health officials work to get COVID vaccine shots in arms, there could be a big breakthrough on the treatment side. Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
The FDA will soon decide if the first COVID treatment pill will be authorized in the U.S. Drug maker Merck announced Monday it asked the feds for emergency use authorization for its new pill, which cut hospitalizations and deaths in half among COVID patients in a large-scale clinical trial. Doctors say if it's approved, it could potentially save millions of lives.
Although the virus is already in our bodies, if we can prevent it from multiplying, it can't spread further in our bodies, and thus our disease severity is lessened.
The announcement came just hours after AstraZeneca released new data from clinical trials of its anti-COVID cocktail, saying it also reduced hospitalizations and deaths by 50% in patients who had symptoms for 7 days or less. Public health officials say the focus on new treatments is partly due to a waning immunity problem among those who got their shots 6 months ago or more, leading to more breakthrough cases in COVID hotspots.
They have less immunity, which means the virus has more opportunity to move around.
Meanwhile, the president's top health advisor has good news for kids across the country. Dr. Anthony Fauci giving the green light for trick-or-treating this Halloween, citing increasing vaccination rates in most states.
It's a good time to reflect on why it's important to get vaccinated, but go out there and enjoy Halloween as well as the other holidays.
Dr. Fauci says if you're not vaccinated, you should take extra precautions on Halloween, like masking up and social distancing. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
COVID-19 cases are stretching school nurses thin, and school districts say hiring more nurses is proving difficult. Stephanie Bennett reports.
There are days when I've gone to probably, 6 different sites, depending on what the needs are.
Sarah Rodden is one of 10 registered nurses looking after 21 schools in the Sunnyside Unified School District in Tucson.
The work doesn't stop, and so we just keep working.
She says the pandemic has added a lot to their daily workload. On top of helping students with everything from minor cuts and bruises to chronic conditions, they're now tracking and testing children for COVID-19. Ron says it's now common to work straight through lunch breaks and after school hours.
It's not uncommon for me to see emails come through regarding COVID cases well into the evening, and I know that my staff has stayed because of the workload and just trying to get everything done and keep everybody safe.
The National Association of School Nurses says this issue has been happening for years, but the pandemic is stretching resources thin. They're now seeing school nurses retire early or change careers.
Our country as a whole, it is concerning that almost, about half of our public schools don't have a full-time school nurse. This is our third school year that we are dealing with this pandemic, and they are, they're tired. They've been working 24/7.
At the U.S.-Mexico border, the Nogales Unified School District is utilizing outside help, working closely with community health leaders to offer telehealth visits with doctors and COVID testing.
It has been busier than prior school years when there was no pandemic, because now with any mild cold or a sore throat or anything like that, they have to be sent to the nurse's office.
Pandemic aside, the CDC recommends schools have at least one full-time nurse for every 750 students. At the moment, it's estimated that a quarter of schools have no nurse at all. In Phoenix, Stephanie Bennett, Fox News.
A New Jersey nurse died this weekend after she was critically injured by an alleged mugger in Times Square on Friday. The suspect, described as a homeless man who had been on a crime spree, was taken into custody by the NYPD. As Kieran Dillon reports, her death has shocked her Bayonne, New Jersey community.
It's a horrible thing. I don't know what to tell you. I can feel it now because he's gone. He's gone.
Amelia Cruz can barely catch her breath, a little more than 24 hours after her close friend, oncology nurse Maria Ambrosio, was assaulted in front of her. She was at her side along with family as she was taken off life support.
She's every friend that anybody wants to have. She's a very kind person, extremely sincere, honest, and loving.
Both nurses at Bayonne Medical Center, Cruz and Ambrosio, were in Times Square Friday afternoon. Cruz says they had just finished lunch when a man plowed into Ambrosio outside a pizzeria. Police say that man was being chased after stealing another man's phone. She fell and cracked her skull when her head hit the pavement.
I hope that he will be charged and, justice should be served. So my friend's life won't be in vain.
Police say the homeless man, 26-year-old Jermaine Foster, took off but was later caught and arrested. They add he was also involved in another theft shortly before this incident at a woman's apartment. In Bayonne, where Ambrosio worked as a nurse for more than 2 decades, the mayor says he befriended her during the pandemic, even seeing her just last week. He says he was always in awe of her commitment to her patients, adding her passing has left a permanent hole in this community.
She's a sweetheart. She was a loving person, a caring person. All she ever wanted to do was help. Even during the pandemic, she worked extra hours. She did everything she had to do for the people of the city of Bayonne.
Ambrosio's friends tell us she was married and had stepchildren, a committed member of her church and the Filipino community. They add, in addition to helping people, she loved music and travel.
She's like a sister to me, a younger sister. She's a good nurse, excellent nurse.
They say their friend will be remembered for her giving heart and her endless devotion to helping others.
A would-be thief tried but was unable to outrun a New York City Transit police officer. The NYPD tweeted video of a foot pursuit that happened in Brooklyn's Canarsie neighborhood last Thursday. 2 officers were on a train talking. You could see the train doors opened and the officers see a person running on the platform. One officer chases the person down the steps and outside the train station. The officer eventually catches the person and arrests him. According to police, the would-be thief had stolen a phone. The Corning City Council is hosting a public workshop over Zoom on Wednesday. The City Council will be debating whether or not marijuana dispensaries will be allowed in Corning. New York passed a law legalizing marijuana, with measures allowing counties and municipalities to determine if dispensaries will be opened in their communities. Links to the Zoom meeting can be found on the City of Corning website. Wednesday's meeting kicks off at 6. High drama in D.C., with Democrats voicing their frustrations on negotiations surrounding a multi-trillion-dollar spending package. Progressives and moderates are hopeful a deal can still get done, but they'll have to do it with almost full support from their members. Madeline Rivera has the latest from Washington.
Look, we're a diverse party. We represent different parts of the country.
Democrats struggling with internal divisions still have no solution for how to overcome them. At stake are a number of agenda items that they want to get done before the end of the year. The president calling for unity over the weekend at the Democratic Party's fall meeting.
As Democrats, we have to show that we do understand that we are delivering for them.
There's frustration towards Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who are being blamed by Democrats for blocking a multi-trillion-dollar social spending bill backed by the majority of the party. But the two have their own thoughts on several issues.
One of them supports prescription drug pricing negotiations so that Americans don't have to pay more for their prescription drugs. The other one doesn't really support that.
Still, several members believe they'll get the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the larger spending package passed.
The overwhelming majority of the Democratic caucus is for both the president's bipartisan infrastructure plan and actually his full Build Back Better plan.
Republicans have their doubts.
I predict we have a better than even chance of defeating this tax and spending bill if there are any moderates left in the House who will fight for their local small businesses and American jobs.
The House is set to vote on the Senate-passed bill to raise the debt ceiling on Tuesday, avoiding the threat of a default until December, another issue that Democrats must tackle in the weeks to come. In Washington, Malda Rivera, Fox News.
Halloween is right around the corner, and the Arnott Mall is hosting a trunk or treat event to celebrate. Residents are welcome to come to the mall parking lot for candy and live music. Prizes will be awarded for the best decorated trunk during the event. The Arnott Mall Trunk or Treat takes place on October 30th from 3 to 5 p.m. Still ahead tonight, a major headache for thousands traveling with Southwest Airlines.
There's no explanation for this problem. So I suspect that Southwest isn't being totally honest with us.
What the airline is saying the issue is causing people all over the country to be stranded.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Matar. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a great Monday so far. A few clouds moving in and out of our sky, but overall we've stayed dry today. But we are keeping a track on a storm system, or actually two storm systems I've been tracking that could affect our weather for this week. One is a low pressure system that's tightly wound in Missouri. You can see all the thunderstorms associated with that. And then another system that is located in the Intermountain West, bringing some snow to portions of the west. For our area, it will cause temperatures to drop down as we head toward the weekend, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But out ahead of these systems, temperatures will run about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal. Expect partly sunny skies tomorrow afternoon, but we do have rain chances as we head toward the end of the week. And along with the rain, we are expecting a little bit cooler air. But for tomorrow, a very comfortable day. Here is that low I was telling you about. Will continue to move toward Canada. It could be close enough where it could give us a shower or two by the end of the day on Tuesday, but not the best rain chances. I think we have better rain chances as we move toward the end of the week. So if you want to take a walk tomorrow, it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. Temperatures will be perfect, 63 degrees at 9 o'clock, by noon 72, and then we are going to warm up into the mid to upper 70s before dropping back down into the low 70s by the end of the day. By the middle of the week, high pressure will build in again. We are expecting warm, comfortable conditions for Wednesday as well as Thursday. Here comes that system I was telling you about that gave the snow, or portions of the west some snow. It will continue to track to the east and bring some rain toward our area. In addition to that, there is a tropical system that's located in the Pacific that will cross through Texas and possibly make its way to the northeast as well, and that's going to really enhance our rain chances for this weekend. So here's a look at your rain chances for the upcoming days. No rain chances tomorrow, maybe an isolated shower or two in the afternoon, but maybe an isolated shower as well Wednesday and Thursday, but increasing rain chances over the weekend due to those two systems I was telling you about. So our future radar is showing just a few passing clouds tonight into early tomorrow. No really rain concerns. There could be one or two showers that will head our way as we move into your Wednesday. But overall, it's not going to be widespread, and it's going to be very hit and miss in nature on Wednesday into your Thursday with that system that's moving from the Great Lakes region into Canada. So here's a look at your forecast tonight. We drop down to around 55 degrees with mostly cloudy conditions. Highs tomorrow cloudy as well with a high around 76. Staying in the mid to upper 70s through Friday, and then a big drop in temperatures over the weekend. In fact, we have better rain chances on Sunday with highs only around 63.
A family in Florida is heartbroken and shocked after a fully vaccinated 58-year-old man with no comorbid conditions died of COVID-19. Steve King reports.
He was beautiful, handsome, strong, healthy, kind-hearted guy who was loved by so many people.
A proud father and husband, Vincent Conader loved riding his motorcycle, being near the ocean, and going on vacations with his family.
It's unimaginable grief.
Jamie Conader met her husband Vincent in 1985 at the Palm Beach Post, where he worked for 36 years. Now, Vincent Conader's family is left with his memories, but also questions, like how a man they say had no pre-existing conditions, who was fully vaccinated, could die from COVID-19.
He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was told to do. He was trying to protect his family, and he just felt like it was the right thing to do. And he felt that if he did get COVID, he would not die, that it would save him.
The CDC reports that as of October 4th, out of the more than 185 million fully vaccinated Americans, 6,617 people have died from COVID-19, which amounts to 1 out of every 25,000 fully vaccinated Americans dying from the virus. The majority of those deadly breakthrough cases are people over 65, but Vincent was 58. Also, none of the companies offering the shot, including Johnson & Johnson, which Vincent Conader received, has ever claimed to have a vaccine completely effective at preventing death from COVID-19. Jamie Conader now has this message to everyone in the community, regardless of their vaccination status.
Go ahead and get vaccinated because I still feel like it's the right thing to do, but to not let down your guard. You still need to wear your mask. You still need to, stay away from super spreader events and follow all the other guidelines.
Southwest Airlines is canceling flights again today, and there were mass cancellations this weekend too, leaving people all over the country stranded. So what's the issue? As Britt Conway reports, the answer depends on who you ask.
Couldn't even sleep last night, really, just because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Levi Stinson's story is one of thousands right now. Southwest Airlines passengers stranded because their flights were canceled or delayed. Now they wait in lines at airports and on the line with Southwest.
I have been on the phone since 4:30 this morning on hold.
On Saturday, more than 800 flights were canceled. Sunday, it was over 1,000, along with more than 1,000 delays each day. Southwest blamed air traffic control problems and disruptive weather along with staffing issues in Florida. But some customers aren't buying it.
There's no explanation for this problem. So I suspect that Southwest isn't being totally honest with us.
Fort Lauderdale International said the delays were due to poor weather up north. The FAA says issues related to traffic control or staffing only happened for a few hours Friday night, and continued scheduling challenges for some airlines were because of aircraft and crews being out of place. There's been speculation about a pilot walkout after Southwest issued a vaccine mandate for employees last week. But the Southwest Airlines Pilots Association says that's not the case. Quote, "We can say with confidence that our pilots are not participating in any official or unofficial job actions." But these passengers are officially frustrated.
There were no other flights available.
I started looking through and there's just nothing.
When I'll get there, I don't know.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Thousands of honeybees have been removed from a vacant property in Georgia. As reporter Alan Devlin tells us, the bees terrorized neighbors for weeks.
The bees was there the whole time, but it just kept on getting bigger and bigger. It was literally like thousands of bees inside there. Absolutely crazy. I mean, because I thought this was going to fall all over him.
Matthew sees bees.
I mean, I'm afraid to come out the house sometimes, you know.
As a massive hive of the honeymakers grows at a vacant house right next door.
But when I walked in there, I was like, oh my God. It's crazy.
But killing them, not an option. It's frowned upon right here in Georgia. These guys endangered and essential to the ecosystem.
The honeybee populations have been struggling in recent years, so that's why it's more important to make sure we're doing the right thing for the honeybees, and that's not killing them.
Everybody was telling me, oh, you can't hurt the bees. You can't hurt them. Bless your heart. Please. Bless your heart. Who's going to bless me when they sting me?
But Seas has learned, and the owner of the vacant house got the bees removed today.
You could see the honey and stuff like on the window and everything like that. I mean, and you could smell it.
Some still linger around the property, but Seas happy with the progress.
So whoever's going to have some really good honey.
Now's your chance to see the world's greatest treasures from the edge of space. Stratospheric ballooning company Worldview has opened up reservations for its 5-day adventures. 8 passengers and 2 crew members will soar 100,000 feet for 6 to 12 hours at a time. But it comes at a cost, $50,000 per seat. The first commercial flights will fly above the Grand Canyon. They're scheduled to begin in early 2024. And starting today, teachers can get a little extra lovin' with free breakfast from McDonald's. Teachers, administrators, and school staff are eligible for the thank you meals. They just have to show their work IDs. Then they'll receive hash browns and 1 of 3 sandwiches, plus a free drink. The promotion lasts all week long. McDonald's gave away 12 million free thank you meals to first responders and healthcare workers last year. A rare find from one of baseball's legends brings in the bucks, while Florida police make a find of their own. And not all calendar girls have 2 legs. Check out these stories in today's Take a Look at This.
An autographed photo of baseball great shoeless Joe Jackson sold for a record price at a recent auction. The lucky new owner paid an eye-popping $1.47 million for the picture taken of Jackson at a training camp in Alexandria, Louisiana back in 1911. That's the most ever paid for a signed sports photo. Auction house Christie's says what makes this item so unique is that Jackson couldn't formally read or write. This is currently the only known signed photo of him. The Brevard County Sheriff's Department taking to Facebook to help reunite someone with, get this, their 770 pounds of marijuana. The lost high-grade pot was found in a storage facility in Vieira, Florida. The cheeky social media post asks the rightful owner to come forward and claim their weed. And since it's worth about $2 million, the sheriff's office promises to keep the owner and their property in a, quote, secured area so no one can rip them off. But I have a feeling that comes with a county-issued jumpsuit. There are calendar girls, then there is Angel. This miniature zebu cow was born with rear leg deformity, but that doesn't stop her from strutting around the Iowa Farm Sanctuary in her wheelchair, greeting all her adoring fans. This bovine beauty can be seen in the 2022 Walkin' Pets calendar that raises money for the Handicapped Pets Foundation. For Take a Look at This, I'm Steve Nannis.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A North Carolina man won nearly $200,000 on a lottery ticket he forgot he bought. Gregory Warren, a mechanic, picked up a Cash 5 lottery ticket at a gas station on September 29th. Then he completely forgot about it until this week when he decided he might as well check those numbers. When his Cash 5 numbers matched, he said he was in shock. Warren is planning to use the money to start a new business so he can hire his son when he graduates from high school. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.